I saw Obsession. This is a new horror movie directed by Curry Barker. It stars Indy Navarrete and Michael Johnston. Those are three people's names who a week ago I did not know, but now they are firmly cemented in my brain, and anything they do from here on in, I will be there for. I am going to be doing spoilers about this movie. So if you have not seen it, stop this video and come back to it later, but you have been warned. The plot of this movie, you can just get from the trailer. Bear is hopelessly in love with Nikki, his lifelong friend slash coworker. She's not really interested in him like that. He gets a hold of this supernatural force called a one-wish willow, where you break it in half and you get one wish, anything you want. He wishes that Nikki falls hopelessly in love with him, and she does, to damaging effects. You probably, if you've seen the trailer, you know what happens here. Navarrete gives a star-making performance. I know up until recently with Demi Moore and Amy Madigan, the Oscars have not usually recognized horror performers, but Navarrete should be, at least for the first half of this year, a leading candidate for Best Actress. She bursted onto the scene like, I want to say, JLC in Halloween, Neve Campbell in Scream. She has punched her ticket with this performance. It was so good. The facial expressions she makes, she is terrifying. A lot of the things that Barker has her positioned, like he has her on screen, but you can't really see her, and she's moving around very slowly and creepily. And the twist of this movie, this is where I'm going to get into spoilers, is you don't get this from the trailer, is that you're led to believe that Nikki's entire personality changes due to the One Wish Willow, but no, it's like an Exorcist is kind of a comparison point. Her body is overtaken. She is still in there, but unable to control, and we see this through several scenes in the movie, two of which I didn't see the first time. I did see this movie twice, but there's a scene later in the movie where she's laying in bed and she calls out to Bear, begging him to kill her. And this is why you need to see this movie in a theater, because you could, when Bear refuses to kill her and asks, is being with me so bad? And she replies with, I've never been with you, which is just gutting for him. You could hear and feel the audience in the packed theater I was in turn on Bear. It was really great. And Michael Johnston is also incredible in this role. I think when I saw him in the beginning of the movie, arguably the most cringe scene in this film is the opening scene, in which he's rehearsing things he wants to say to Nikki to a waitress at a diner. And it's just, it reminded me of Preston from Can't Hardly Wait, and also defines how thin the line is between Preston, which was, I think if anybody's seen Can't Hardly Wait, you were rooting for him in that movie. This guy's just creepy as hell, and it's just very cringe, and I was never rooting for him. There were times where I felt bad for him, but at no point in this movie was I rooting for him, and by the end of the film, he's the villain. You hate this guy for what he's done to her. The end of the film, the last half hour of this movie just goes completely off the rails with Nikki killing Sarah, and it's just a nitpick that I had, but it turned out to not be a nitpick, is when you see Sarah in the window, you know that Nikki is coming, just the way that it's positioned, and you know she's about to die, but the way it happens is just Nikki smashing her head into the steering wheel over and over and over again. It's so gruesome, and it would, even though I knew it was going to happen, just the way it played out was incredible. And again, I was in a packed theater to see this, and just the collective gasps. It was definitely an experience. And the ending of this movie with Bear attempting to kill himself by swallowing pills, chickening out, attempting to throw up, but Nikki gets a hold of a One Wish Willow, wishes that Bear loves her more than anyone else in the world. They start making out, but he still has swallowed the pills and dies. And as he's dying, we see possessed Nikki about to kill herself, but snaps out of it when Bear dies, and we're just left with the image of a TV screen and her wailing. Incredible ending. And I heard in an interview that they had shot several scenes where Nikki actually does kill herself at the end, but they decided at the last minute to go with the one where she lives, which I thought this was a perfect ending. Perfect in both that it's an excellent conclusion. If they never did anything else with this again, it's satisfying, but also there is room for a sequel. We could, if we want to see what happens next or the continuing adventures of Nikki, I'm in. So whatever they decide to do, I am here for. But I love this movie so much. Like I said in the beginning, this is probably 1-1A with the drama for best film of the year. I'm giving this an 8.8 out of 10, and this is in theaters. Go see it now.